Brushflies, welcome back to my channel Brushfly MUA. If you're new here, hi, my name is Mercedes and I'm covered in makeup. And if you are new, please remember to hit that subscribe button, and if you're not new, hi, welcome back. So today's video, I have my notebook in front of me because it's one I need to remember what notes I have written. So I have decided to do a video about foundation woes and how to fix them. So by woes I mean like problems. So yeah, so a lot of people, I've had like friends and family and even a few people message me on Instagram asking how to apply foundation properly, and just asking like why certain things happen with their foundation, why it's not sitting this way, why it's not doing what it should. And I do have some hints and tips, I do have some ideas, so I thought I would just compile them all into a video so you can refer to this and see if any of them are about your foundation woes. So the first one is, my foundation keeps giving me a grey tinge. So no one wants a grey looking foundation, no one wants to look near dead than before they have to, kind of thing. But there could be actually a number of things that are making your foundation give off a grey cast. So it could actually be that the oils in your skin are reacting with the ingredients in the foundation. So what you could then do is look through the ingredients, see if anything else in your makeup bag has those ingredients and how they react. You could maybe just look at it and think, actually that foundation obviously is not working for me, and try another one, because certain foundations, they have different ingredients in. You might have a dewy foundation which might react really well to your skin, but then you want a more mattifying one and you try that and it doesn't react well at all. So maybe it's just the change in ingredients that's just not mixing well with your own natural oils. It also could mean that you're just using the wrong shade, maybe it has the wrong undertones, it could be too light. Or if you have a warmer skin tone, a neutral shade can make it look too ashy. So I always find the best thing is with foundation is to go in store and apply a bit sort of on here. Don't apply it on your neck, because your neck always tends to be a completely different shade to the rest of you. So apply a bit here that you think is a close match. Carry a little pocket mirror with you. Go stand outside in the natural light, because the light in like supermarkets or in like a drugstore, they are really fluorescent, they are really bright, and they're gonna throw off any colourful tones and make them look a bit wrong anyway. So go stand outside in the natural light, have a look in your little mirror and have a look there and see how it works for you there. You should be able to get a better judge. Also ask people around you, like I've had people ask me before as I'm walking past, oh, do you think this shade suits me? They don't know I have anything to do with makeup, but they're just asking an opinion of a stranger as they're walking past. So, you know, don't feel afraid to ask someone, oh, do you think this looks right? Or ask someone in the store. I had my foundation matched to me with number 7. They used the little machine. It literally took 2 seconds and it told me which shade I should be wearing, and actually it's one of my favourite foundations. I have recently done a top 5 foundations video which I'll link down below. But yeah, that's how I found my number 7 favourite. So you know, there's many ways that you can find your perfect shade. One thing is that you could be slightly tanned. So say if you wear like your normal foundation shade throughout the rest of the year, summer hits. You could be going out in the sun, maybe not applying as much SPF as you should, and you actually might be getting a slight gradual tan. And that can actually throw off your foundation. You know, you'll apply it, but actually you're more tanned than you normally are, so it throws off the shade and makes it not look as it should. You might need to buy maybe a slightly darker shade for the summer months and maybe a slightly lighter shade for the winter months. That way you've got something you can always fall back on. And if you buy foundations that are maybe a bit too dark or a bit too light, keep them, because you can mix them. You know, I wouldn't necessarily mix a hydrating one with a mattifying one, but say if you have 2 mattifying foundations and one of them's quite dark for you and the other one's too pale, mix them together and make a custom shade. That is definitely a makeup artist tip. Okay, so the next one is my foundation is breaking me out. So what many people realise is it might not necessarily be the foundation. It could be, depends on the ingredients and how your skin reacts. But have you looked at your tools? So makeup sponges and brushes, they all need washing regularly. I wash mine once a week, but I will actually go through about 3 sponges a week. And then I have like a little mesh bag that I put them all in, chuck them in the washing machine and give them a good wash, and then they're ready to go for the next week. So I always like to make sure that mine are clean. But maybe if you've forgotten to do that, there could be bacteria and germs that are building up on your tools, and then you're applying it and you're thinking it's the foundation, but actually it could be what's on your tools. Another tip is with sponges, like you chuck them in the washing machine. If it goes in with other washing, you might be putting a fabric conditioner in. Maybe if you're using a fabric conditioner, it's going into the sponge and then it's not agreeing with your skin. I found that with face masks during the pandemic. I was wearing my face mask and it was breaking me out a lot. I mean, they break me out a little bit anyway, but it was horrendous. And I found that it was because I was using fabric conditioner. And it was just, it's rubbing against your skin and it's perfumed and it's got different chemicals and stuff in. So naturally your skin is just going to go a bit, oh my god, what have you put near me? The next sort of idea could be the age of your foundation. Has it only just started to break you out? How long have you had it? Is it 6 months old? Is it a year old? Is it brand new? If it's brand new and you know that your tools are okay, your hormones are all in check, maybe it could be the ingredients in that foundation. It does happen. But maybe if it's a little bit older, maybe you've hit like the 6 to 9 month mark, maybe it's getting towards the 12 month, the end of its life. Maybe there's just bacteria that has built up inside it and it is creating havoc on your skin. If it's a bit old, my best bet would be to bin it and buy yourself a nice new one. If it is a new one and you definitely think it is that, then maybe see if a friend would like it, pass it along so it's not wasted, and then treat yourself to a nice new one. And you can go into like places like Boots and go to like the number 7 stand and they can give you samples of foundation, not just number 7 but Estee Lauder and the other sort of counters in there. If you ask them to sort of like assess your skin and see which shade you would be, they can usually give you like a pot that would last you like 3 days, so you can see how it would react with your skin. So that is always a good thing. Go and ask. Also in the summer months, a lot of people forget to change up their foundation during the year. So in the winter months it's perfectly fine to wear a more heavy coverage foundation, because the months are drier, you need to lock it in a bit more, and you can sort of get away with a heavy duty one. But in the summer months you're sweating more, your pores are going to get clogged, maybe the heavy dutiness of it is getting into your skin. Maybe you just need a lighter foundation or a BB cream during the summer months, just to sort of let your skin breathe a little bit. Sometimes we all forget to let our skin breathe. Like, some people out there will say, oh no, your skin doesn't breathe. No, it doesn't, but it's an expression. It does sort of, I want to say it kind of does breathe in its own way. It needs room, it needs time. So yeah, definitely give your skin time to breathe. Could also, as a last resort, try and find a foundation formula that is not, I don't know how to pronounce this word properly, chondrogenic, which is a formula that doesn't clog up your pores. So there are a few examples of foundations that are that word. So you have Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, YSL All Hours, Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Foundation, NARS Sheer Glow, L'Oreal Paris True Match Liquid Foundation. So, you know, there are a few that are that word. Honestly, I really cannot say it. And maybe you should give those a go, maybe see if those ingredients work a bit better for you. Another question is, my foundation keeps going patchy. So it could be that you're applying too much to your face all at once. A lot of makeup artists will recommend that you apply moisturiser at least 10 minutes before you apply the rest of your foundation. Obviously when you're watching a YouTube video, YouTubers will apply foundation straight after doing your moisturiser. But what you might not know is they might have paused the camera for like 8 minutes, then unpaused it, then applied the foundation over the top. Or if they're pressed for time, they might do the moisturiser and then the foundation straight away. Obviously, I'm a school-run mum, so I know that is not always the case that you have time to apply moisturiser 10 minutes before you need to get ready, because when you need to get out the door, you need to get out the door. But that is one way that you could try and make it not go patchy, because what happens is your skin sort of absorbs the moisturiser. And if you put foundation on straight away over the top, as your skin's absorbing the moisturiser, it will absorb in certain places quicker than others, and maybe not as much as others. So then it makes the foundation look a bit patchy, like it's not sitting properly. Although you've applied it properly, it's because your skin is then sort of moisturised more in one place than another. So yeah, I would definitely try and give yourself a few minutes to let your moisturiser sink in, and make sure you're using a primer. So a lot of people, especially on YouTube, I've heard them say like, I don't believe in primer, primer is not great, primer is a lie. I love primer. So for me, like, I have two to hand here. This one I've just tested out today, seems to be working really nicely. This one is my all-time favourite, the number 7 Airbrush Away primer. So I always wear a primer, whether it's summer, winter, autumn, spring, I wear a primer, because for me, I don't know whether it's because I have really dry skin, it just smooths everything out and makes this really nice base that I can put my foundation and the rest of my makeup onto. There have been days where I have forgotten to do primer, and I really notice the difference on how my foundation is sitting. It doesn't last as long, it does look patchy. So I am definitely one of those people that really believes in primer. So I would definitely recommend finding yourself a good primer. It doesn't have to be an expensive one. You can find cheaper ones in like Superdrug that are just as good as like the proper top end ones. Like, I love the number 7 Airbrush Away, but Revolution or I Heart Revolution have little chocolate themed primers. I remember using one of those and it was almost a dupe for that one. So don't think you have to spend loads, you really don't. So I would definitely recommend a primer. And some foundation top tips that I have. I don't like applying foundation with a brush. It's just me. I find for me it goes on very streaky. It could be because I have dry skin, but I love using a dampened down sponge to apply my foundation. I do feel it gives me a more perfected look. It does soak up some of the excess products, so you do tend to use a bit more than you would with a brush. But to get a more flawless perfected look, I would definitely recommend using a sponge. If you have more dewy skin and you find that your foundation is maybe a bit too dewy for you, you could use a mattifying primer first and then use a mattifying foundation. And then if you want to add a bit of glow and a bit of dewiness back into your skin, you can use a highlighter in certain places of your face to add that glow, but also use a nice glowy setting spray to bring a bit of that dewiness back, but not over the top. Plus, a lot of people powder, but I find sometimes powder, it can either be a godsend or it can completely break a look and make everything look completely too cakey and crepey. What I would advise is test out your foundations. Have a day at the weekend where you can just sit at home and play with your makeup. When I do a foundation wear test, I will wear my foundation. One day I will use a certain primer, the next day I use a different one. One day I will apply my normal routine powder, the next day I will then add a baking powder, then I will use a certain setting spray. So I always try to put them through their paces to see how they react to certain products. Some foundations like to be treated in a certain way, and others don't. You just have to learn and get to know them. So definitely get to know your foundations. That is a big thing. If you have really dry skin like me, I love a hyaluronic acid serum. So I normally apply this serum on first, and then I will apply some moisturizer, and then I will use a nice hydrating primer, then a foundation. And I could technically go with a more mattifying foundation if I really wanted to, because I have added a lot of moisture into my skin, but quite often I will still go with a slightly more dewy foundation just to make sure that my skin looks nice and supple and hydrated. Also, one last thing, when you are shopping for foundation, make sure that you match it to your whole skin tone. Don't match it to your neck, because quite often your neck is the wrong colour. But you know, look at the rest of your body. Is the rest of your body quite tanned from like being out in the sun? If you then wear a really pale foundation, you're gonna look a bit mishmash. And again, if your body is quite pale and you go and buy a really dark toned foundation, you're gonna look like you've been tangoed and very orange. And this goes for all skin tones and skin types. You know, if you have a more deeper skin tone but you buy a lighter foundation, it's gonna look out of place. And the same as well if you have a more medium skin tone but you buy a more deeper foundation, it's just not gonna sit right for you. So I definitely advise going in to a store, making sure that you can get access to your arms, and especially like this area here. So when you are shopping for a foundation, you can proper assess it, look at it, and make sure you're getting the right shade for your whole body as well as your face, because you need it to match. Yes, you can sort of rescue it if you do go a bit pale with bronzer, blusher, and those sort of things, but I think it's best to get the right foundation to start with. So I hope my little foundation woe video has been able to help you understand your foundations a bit more, maybe why certain things are happening, and hopefully they will help you to fix those problems for you. If they do help, let me know, because I would love to know that I've helped someone. And if they don't help, message your problems as well, because I would like to know, and then maybe I can do a bit more research and try and find out, well, you know, if none of these have worked, maybe it's something else. But I do want to quickly add as well, hormones. I completely forgot to mention this. Hormones can play such a big part in how makeup can sit on your skin. I find that with my endometriosis, hormones are cow bags. So if all else fails and you try all of these, you might find that it could be potentially your hormones, maybe you're having a particularly stressful month. You know, just consider all these things, take a step back and maybe think, am I lacking in something? Do I need to just relax a little bit more? So yeah, there are many reasons why foundation and makeup plays up on skin. You just have to try and find the right way to fix it. Obviously, this is not a be all and end all video. There are going to be tips that I've missed out or that I still need to discover, but I thought this would help you all, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!